Stats New Zealand and, sorry, that's my baby, sorry, screaming, and Chief Data Steward. Now, in addition to your chair tonight, I'm actually also a statistician, so it might come as no surprise to some of you that I've worked for Liz in the past. But the good news is tonight that I don't work for her anymore, so I don't really have to behave in how I introduce her. But no, I'm not going to talk about the census, it's just too early. So, Liz has actually prepared a skit tonight, and in all seriousness, Liz has been a executive level leader across government for the last 16 years. She's been Chief Executive of Stats NZ for the last 5, and in 2018, finally, there are an equal number of women and men in Chief Executive roles across the government departments, and Liz has absolutely been someone that has carved that out for us. So in all seriousness, Liz, thank you for being someone that so many women can look up to. Ho mai te Pakipaki, please join me in welcoming Liz and the rest of her stats team.
Imagine if algorithms ran recruitment. What could possibly go wrong?
Wow, fantastic. The senior UX designer role is just what I've been looking for. Apply.
Welcome to Major Global Tech's online recruitment centre. I'm the recruitment chatbot with the latest in AI technology. I will evaluate your application without human bias. My job is to make your application easy and transparent. Just tell me your answers and I'll evaluate your application as we go. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Please answer yes or no. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. Then let's get started. Your first name, please.
Jocelyn.
Great. Jocelyn was a common masculine name of Norman origins in the Middle Ages. Result, this applicant is male. 81% of employees hired in the past have been male. Your suitability score is 1. 68% male employees have progressed to senior positions. Your score has increased to 2. Next question, what is your last name?
Morrison.
Morrison is an Anglo-Scottish surname, also popular in Ireland. 42% of employees hired in the past have been from the United Kingdom. Your score has increased to 3. Next question. What is your age? Please round up to the nearest year.
You don't need to know that. I refuse to answer.
Please state your age.
No.
Our data shows that people who refuse to answer are highly principled and are likely to challenge management and the corporate culture. Your score has decreased to 1. Next question. What is your height?
157 centimetres.
Global Tech currently has desk space available on the mezzanine floor, which has a low ceiling. Your score has increased to 2. Next question. What is your hair colour?
Blue and purple.
Our data shows that people with non-natural hair colours are independent, creative thinkers who will not conform to our team norms. Your score has decreased to 1.
Note to self, dye hair before interview.
Next question. What genre do you like to read?
Science fiction and fantasy.
Our data shows that people who read science fiction and fantasy literature are impractical, prone to daydreaming, and have low productivity. Your score has decreased to 0. I'm sorry, your score does not meet our standard, so you are not eligible for employment at Major Global Tech.
Don't you want to know about my experience and knowledge?
You are not eligible for employment at Major Global Tech.
Well, if that's the way you go about recruiting people, it's not the place I want to work. Cancel.
Right, so, kia ora koutou. Obviously the skit that you've just seen really oversimplifies the use of real algorithms and how they might process a job application, but it does highlight the potentials of using historical data. And what I would like to say to an audience like this is, we know the power of algorithms. We know that machine learning and neural networks and a variety of other things have huge potential for New Zealand, but we need to make sure that we're taking care. And from our perspective at Stats New Zealand, one of the things we're looking at is how can we, within government, actually build the frameworks that allow us to develop a trust and confidence with the public, such that we can get the very best out of the data and the tech that we have in New Zealand, and the huge potential that there is, say, just in this room and the people outside, to actually make our lives better, the sort of well-being and sustainable development that the Minister was talking about and Justin was talking about just now. So at Stats NZ, as the Chief Data Steward, I've been taking some responsibility for doing an algorithm stocktake across government. And it was just the start to see what we're currently using. And what we found was that we are starting to use some algorithms, but they're not particularly sophisticated yet. And what that means is that we've got the opportunity to get things right. We've got the opportunity to develop trust models, which allows us in New Zealand and here in Wellington, led from here in Wellington, a trusted ecosystem, a trusted data ecosystem, and that's what we're after. Something that we can take to the world in the way that we've taken so many other things to the world. An ecosystem, a data ecosystem in which there's high trust and where we can use some of these amazing new technologies and the algorithms that drive them for good. So I'm really looking forward to working with you and others on this. Next stage in our journey next year, having published the algorithm stocktake, is to start having a conversation about the sort of practices that we can put in place to help us develop that trusted ecosystem. And one of the things we'll be doing is establishing a group of independent experts to basically provide a sounding board for government in the first instance, and then later on to be able to think about the issues that are confronting us, the sort of we can but should we questions, so that we as New Zealand can really make the most of the amazing technology, creative energy and potential that lies within the data and the tech that we have available. So that's it from me. Have a wonderful evening. I'd love to talk to all of you and to really explore the way that we can work together to make this the most trusted capital city in terms of its data and its tech in the world. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Liz. Our next speaker